I can't lie, it's deflating last night. To go out of the Champions League at the first knockout stage that we played in, it was a tough pill to swallow. But look, over the course of the two games, PSG probably shaded it, deserved to go through. I've no concern about anything like that. But if you asked any of us at the start of the season where we would want to be come Champions League time, we would have said quarterfinals onwards. So to go out in the last 16 after top of the table feels hollow, to be honest with you. But I want to talk about why it happened. And again, from why it happened, I mean, not from the perspective of decisions last night or anything like that, but I want to look again to the lack of options from the bench and speak about the fact that I think, again, you can push this back on John W. Henry, Tom Werner, FSG, and the club for putting us in that position. You may have your own thoughts on it, and of course I welcome them into the chat. But for me, I'm going to have my say tonight on why I didn't want to be here doing another I told you so video. I told you so, because this was always going to happen when we don't have enough bodies to rotate in throughout the season. We get to March and we're exhausted. Now, thankfully, it looks like the league's in the bag, so we'll see that through. We have a cup final on Sunday, and we hope for the best for that one. But yeah, I don't know. I don't think PSG shaded it. Man for man, they outclassed us over two legs, said Philip. So last night, I thought we were much, much better, Philip. Much better. That was a performance that I could look at and think, yes, that was a marked improvement from the first leg. So I think shaded it is right for me. PSG, by far the better team in the first leg. I thought we were the better side in the second leg. In extra time, it only looked like there was going to be one winner if there was, and it was them. But other than that, look, I thought we probably didn't do ourselves justice last night. But I want to talk about why, and that's the key part. This isn't about blaming Arne Slot. This isn't about blaming the players. We've seen they left it all out there on the pitch last night. We've seen the exhaustion of Kanade, and that may have led to his withdrawal. We've seen Soboslai being run into the ground, Gravenberch as well. And that's more what I wanted to focus on tonight. It's not scapegoating anybody for last night's result. The result for me was just fatigue, again, catching up with us, and a very good competitor, of course, that we played against over the two legs. So for me, I want to talk about the depth. And this is where I'm going to be blunt. So if anybody's watching and doesn't want me to complain about the owners, well, this probably ain't going to be the one for you at the minute, because for me, I look at the owners and I blame them for last night. I look at Hughes and Edwards and I blame them for last night. Because look at the benches and look at the differences. We made our changes with the couple of players that Arne Slot trusts, and it weakened us. They made their changes and it gave them a second wind and it pushed them on. And Doué, coming on as an example, gave them an outball, gave them another threat. And that's what the problem is for me. That's why under Jurgen, for season after season, and now under Arne Slot, even with Slot trying to manage minutes as best as he can, we're exhausted and we're out on our feet by March. And it's only because we've built up this incredible lead in the Premier League that we will get that job done. We may well end up with a league and cup double, which is brilliant as well. But last night made me just feel frustrated. Because if I'm Arne Slot, I'm looking to that bench and I'm thinking, who's going to do it for us? Who's going to change it for us? And we've seen a Mohamed Salah that had an incredible season but looked absolutely exhausted. We've seen Ryan Gravenberch run into the ground over the course of the season. And that's why I kept saying in the summer, we need another body. And that's why all the journalists who write all their crap about this squad being brilliant and everything being great are once again showing up to be spoofers. It's no accident that this happens every single season. It isn't. We got to start talking about this honestly, and we got to start having these proper conversations around the lack of investment from the owners, because it's pathetic. And that's why we got knocked out last night, in my opinion. That was the difference between the two teams over the course of the two legs, was their manager looked at their bench and found solutions and options, and our manager didn't have anybody he felt he could trust to come on and make a difference. And that is the crux of the matter. And it's difficult when you're saying this in the summer and when you're saying this in January and you're getting the usual suspects telling you you're top of the league, everything's great, what are you complaining about? But here we are again in March and the season is petering away, and thankfully we've built up such a healthy lead that we will win the Premier League. And who knows what way the cup final goes. Fingers crossed we get that done as well. But after that, we're not going to be looking at the quarterfinals of a Champions League. And this team should be looking at the quarterfinals of a Champions League. So I'm irked by the situation. And I'm pissed off at the owners yet again. And I'm not going to hide it now. because the Champions League is done. The Premier League is all but won. So now I can have my say and say, this is the reason I was complaining in the summer. And I was complaining the summer before and in the winter before. Because yet again, we're exhausted and we're wiped out and we don't have enough bodies. Now look at last night and tell me that you recognise that Mohamed Salah. Look at last night and tell me that you recognise that Diogo Jota, that you recognise that Ryan Gravenberch. They are players who were out on their feet, absolutely exhausted. Maybe not Jota, he's just in bad form, but Salah was exhausted. You could see the tears in his eyes after the game, and that has me worried even more so, because now I wonder, does Mohamed Salah think that's his last Champions League game for Liverpool Football Club? I don't know the answer to that. You don't know the answer to that. But I have a feeling in the pit of my stomach that Michael Edwards is going to refresh this team and age profile in the summer, and that may well lead to two of the three players that we know are up for contract renewals moving on. So I'm annoyed, as I always am, by the lack of investment, and I just hope that people can bookmark this in their minds so that next season, if we have another issue again, you can remember that it's all very well and good being top at Christmas and being great and blowing teams away, but trophies are won at the business end of the season. And the biggest trophy of all, outside of the Premier League, got away from us last night at the first knockout opportunity. That doesn't feel like we've done ourselves justice there. James said, I get the argument to keep Salah on the pitch, but what point does Slot have to grow a pair and just take him off? It really got annoying last night when you seen a Gakpo come onto the pitch that was clearly not fit. No sooner was he on the pitch than he was looking jaded and was unable to close down and do the work you normally expect from Cody Gakpo. Then you look across, and if we're being really honest with ourselves, the last 3 games Mohamed Salah's played in, he's kind of ghosted through them, scored some penalties, but he doesn't look like the same player. He looks tired. And again, you look at the bench last night, and Arne Slot could have had Federico Chiesa on there, could have given him time, could have given him minutes, but didn't. I feel I'm vindicated again. And I hate it, because I have to listen. There's no upside to me calling out the owners. I have to listen to people telling me I'm wrong until I'm proven right again. And at that point, it's too late and we're all upset. It's tough. Last night was a really good indicator of why we needed another body in midfield. Why Ryan Gravenberch needed a competitor or somebody to come in and play alongside him or rotate in from. It was plain as day. And we didn't have one. And it's you can't quantify whether that would have made the difference or not. But I also can't keep saying it's an accident that every March time we have these blips and we started to look tired because we've got small squads with only a handful of players that the managers trust. You know, who do you blame on that? I don't for 1 second believe that Arne Slot got the players he wanted. I don't for 1 second believe that he asked for Chiesa. I feel like these are decisions made above his head, and I'm really concerned that we're going to see Salah leave, Trent leave, and I don't know about Virgil, but last night gave me a real fear that Mo's going to go, and that Michael Edwards has plans up his sleeve to bring in younger, hungrier players. And somebody asked me a very fair question in the Discord group. They said, right, Craig, what if you're right? What if they do rotate Mo out of the squad? What if they get Virgil out of the squad? But what if the players that Michael Edwards brings in are a success? And what if Liverpool do go and win stuff next season again? And then you'd have to say, okay, it was worth the risk. But right now we know what we have, and we have the opportunity to keep them. And I think we should do it and succession build, but I'm afraid that we won't. But I want to know what you guys think about it. What did you think of when you seen Mohamed Salah in tears last night? Did you think, oh, maybe Mo feels the Ballon d'Or's away from him? Maybe Mo feels a chance at another Champions League is gone? Or did you feel like me? He feels like that was the end. That was his last game for Liverpool in the Champions League, because I fear that that's what was going through his head.